This is genuinely insane. Someone has proposed a blockbuster trade for Zion Williamson, sending him to the Eastern Conference, and the Pelicans could receive a massive haul in return. Now, you know me, I like to take a look at foolishness like this and see how it can possibly improve the Pels, and we'll talk about it inside this edition of Pelicans Digest. What's good with it, y'all? It's your people, Melz on the MIC, back once again inside Pelicans Digest, and thank you so much once again for tuning in, and thank you for subscribing. And if, to the 70% of y'all that just checking in and ain't staying with us, come on, man, stay with us, man. Hit that subscribe button so you can get the latest content and the best analysis about the Pelicans, the best opinions as well. You can find it right here. And you know, on this channel, I haven't talked too much about Zion Williamson. I just haven't, because a lot of things that go on with Zion, especially when you have commentary about him, is really clickbaity. A lot of it is, and because kid's not really doing anything. Okay, he's not doing anything as far as in the all season. We ain't heard too much about any of his off the court shenanigans, even though, you know, he makes more headlines for off the court shenanigans than he does on the court shenanigans. But I came across an article, and someone sent me this article earlier this morning, and I had to take a look at it. Now, you know, as I've done on this channel before, I don't mind taking a look at trades. I don't mind looking and listening to offers. I like to put on the GM hat and try to take a look at his at offers and see if they can improve the team in some way, shape, or form. Okay, especially down the line into the future. So I came across this trade earlier today, and I just thought, this is genuinely, absolutely insane. This is an absolutely insane trade to even try to propose, in my opinion. And I'm talking about the one made by Jake Brown on Fantasy Sports on Sports Illustrated, SI.com. He proposed a blockbuster trade involving Zion Williamson, sending him to the Miami Heat. Okay. I was like, all right, I know this is big clickbait, but for the sake of entertainment, I'll indulge this. Okay? For the sake of entertainment, I'll indulge this. Okay? Now, the trade is ridiculous in itself, but I'll let you take a look at it and let you be the judge of it right now. The Miami Heat will receive Zion Williamson, and in exchange, the Pelicans will receive Terry Rozier, Nikolai Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, and 2 first-round draft picks. 2 first-round picks, okay. All right, let's break this down. Let's take a look at this trade, okay? You're trading 1 player and getting 3 in return plus 2 first-round draft picks. So you're essentially getting 5 things back in return. Now, if you know anything about Miami, Miami finished below 500 last season, only won like 37 games. And in this trade that Jake is proposing, he wants to send the Pelicans Terry Rozier, Jovic, and Highsmith. Terry Rozier's contract by himself is $26 million. This upcoming season, okay? That's $26 million by himself. The other 2, about $8-9 million total with both of their contracts combined. So they're looking at adding about $35 million here. $35 million to get off of Zion's $127 million contract. So, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, the math, that's mathing. that's good mathing right there. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about Zion, and we have to be realistic about this, okay? You know I've been overly positive about this team on this channel, and I really do think that Zion is going to play and have a great season this season for the Pelicans. I really do believe that, because if you recall last season, in many reports, many post-game reports, many things about Zion, he kept repeatedly saying that I could play more games. I feel good. I could play more games this season. But the powers that be are holding me back and not letting me get busy. And that was David Griffin. David Griffin and them probably would have made this trade, because that's what it sounds like they was doing with Zion last year, was we're going to conserve him and make sure that he, you know, because when he's on the court, he's going to give you 24, 25 a night when he's on the court healthy. Let's keep him healthy. Let's keep him reserved so he can have his stock value up high, so we can go into next season and like I said before in the previous video, wait and see and overreact into a situation like this. Because, like you said, you already moved Brandon Ingram, which, to be honest with you, is starting to look like a good move now. To be, if y'all want to keep it 1,000, if y'all want to keep it $1, we gonna keep it $1. The BI trade starting to look good, but I think this kind of trade that you do with the Heat this would have been a David Griffin move, because I think that's what they was trying to plot up for with Zion holding them back last season, to keep his value high so they can get a big haul in return. And again, I'm only looking at this trade for the sake of the haul for the Pelicans. I'm not looking at it for Miami. They're getting just one player, and if it works out for them, it works out for them. I don't think it will, because the Heat and the so-called Heat culture is Pat Riley insane practices till you die, damn near die. And I don't know if Zion fit for that. I don't know if Zion is fit for that, or that kind of pressure. If we keep it with the buck. I think with this particular situation with the Pelicans, I'm looking at this haul from the perception of Terry Rozier, Jovic, and Highsmith. All contracts come off the books after this season. So you're eliminating $35 million in roster money at the end of this season. The problem is you make the team hot garbage this season. That is the problem. That is the number one problem. If you make this trade, you making the Pelicans hot garbage this season. But the 2 first-round picks, depending on, like, I think in this article he proposed that it be in like 27 or 28 or 29 or something like that, the 2 first-round picks, which is too far down the line. So no, I would say no to that immediately. You got to give me something that's closer to now in order to make that happen. But again, I looked at it from the perspective of the haul of the Pelicans that's going to get. That means they move on from Zion's massive deal and had 3 returning players that are all off the books next summer, which allows them somewhat of a fresh start to join some of the young talent they already have, like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and Jordan Hawkins. So basically, by what he's proposing, you start making a core around Herb, Trey. Now, I don't know how you got Jordan Hawkins in there. I guess this guy ain't been watching too many games, but if Hawkins can do something this season and it can get him more minutes, yeah, I can see that happening. But I can see them also, and with Fears and also Queen. You already, and you still got Jordan Poole for another season. So, and you still got those 2 first-round picks. Yeah, okay, cool. But the team's going to be garbage this year. And we already said it before. This team is set up to win now and still continue to build toward the future. So why would we go pick up a 31-year-old Terry Rozier at this point? Because that goes against what I've been saying what the master plan is. You want to keep Zion around younger players. You immediately put a $26 million Terry Rozier at 31 years old, averaging 10 points a game on his team at point guard. We immediately go downhill. This team immediately goes downhill. So no, I'm going to have to tell Jake respectfully no. Okay, respectfully, no. But the reason why I'm looking at this is because I have to be realistic about Zion. The man only gave us 2 seasons where he played more than 50 games. So I have to keep an open mind myself, really. I have to keep an open mind on what if this turns out to be another terrible season for Zion, which I don't think it will be. Let me be clear on that. I don't think it will be. I think this is going to be the season that we see it from Zion. I think we see it all. I think this is the season that he's going to be more focused now than ever. Especially when you got a kid on the way. Especially when you got kids. You tend to focus in a little bit more when you got kids on your job situation. So, again, I was just looking at this trade for the sake of entertainment. Okay? This is a bad trade at the end of the day. Because this goes against our plan, which is to build around Zion and build around younger players. If we're going to trade off that, and we're going to trade Zion, in my opinion, if you're going to trade Zion Williamson, you had damn well better get a generational haul as far as either draft picks or another all-star that's not in their 30s. That is the only way I will be accepting of a Zion Williamson trade off this team if things go sideways this season with the Pelicans. You had got to give me draft picks out the wazoo, and also you had got to get, or you got to give me some all-star level talent. I don't want no BS thrown in with it either. I need draft picks and an all-star. So what are we gonna do? I know one thing though. I don't think this trade is not going to start. I ain't even gonna think this trade is not going to happen. I don't see them trading Zion Williamson this season. But if Zion and things go sideways with Zion, what do you think the Pelicans should do? What are your thoughts on that? What would you like to see in return if you were to trade Zion Williamson? I would like to hear your thoughts on this in the comments, man. Because I think this is a heavy conversation that we need to at least be open and honest and have as Pelicans fans. You know, again, I'm not saying we should, and I'm not recommending that we will, and I will be upset if we do. But we have to be realistic and look at the possibility of another season of this man not performing to his full potential. And we have to take that risk under consideration. It's risk management. It's something we got to take under consideration this season and into the seasons to come. So what are we going to do about it? What are your thoughts on it, though? I would like to know your thoughts. Who would you, if the Pels wanted to trade Zion Williamson, and we were forced into that position, what would you like to see in return for it? Clap back with your thoughts in the comments, man. And thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in to Pelicans Digest, man. We're going to keep the party rolling, keep the subscribers going up. So hit that subscribe button. You know what it is, man. It's Melz talking about them Pels. I'll holler at you later, baby. And have a great weekend, y'all.